Welcome to Fresh Talk News Channel. Today, we're diving into a major update shaking up the U.S. voting system. A persistent myth that millions of non-citizens are voting in federal elections is now driving new legislation in Congress. This could fundamentally change how Americans register to vote and potentially disenfranchise millions in the process. House Republicans have reintroduced the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility (SAVE) Act, which would require individuals to present a passport or a birth certificate that matches their current legal name when registering to vote. It also imposes strict in-person registration requirements, making it significantly harder for many Americans to participate in elections. The House of Representatives is scheduled to vote on the bill this Thursday. A similar bill has also been introduced in the Senate. If passed, the SAVE Act would functionally eliminate mail-in and online voter registration, according to Eliza Swearenbecker, senior counsel at the Brennan Center for Justice's Voting Rights Program at NYU Law. It has a clear intent of trying to stop millions of American citizens from participating in our elections, she told The Independent. The statistics are eye-opening. More than half of American citizens do not have a passport, which costs around $165, and roughly 13 million citizens lack ready access to citizenship documents, according to the Brennan Center. People of color are disproportionately impacted, with nearly 11% lacking necessary documents compared to about 8% of white Americans. Ilana Beller, democracy organizing manager with Public Citizen, says the SAVE Act's requirements will also disproportionately affect women, according to the Center for American Progress. Around 69 million women who have taken their spouse's last name do not have a birth certificate that reflects their current legal name. Once you change your name, the name on your birth certificate is no longer your legal name, Beller explained. So updating your voter registration would basically require a passport. Getting or updating these documents takes time and money, resources not everyone has. Voters could end up racing against the clock to meet registration deadlines. I'm doing exactly what conservatives say women should do: get married, have kids, work a job, Beller said. And now Congress wants me to spend $165 and jump through months of bureaucratic hoops just to vote? The bill also mandates in-person voter registration, including for updates, which Swearenbecker describes as impractical and unfeasible for millions of Americans, especially those with disabilities, elderly individuals, and people in rural communities. Back in 2024, House Republicans, along with 5 Democrats, passed a version of the SAVE Act after House Speaker Mike Johnson joined Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago to connect the bill to the former president's anti-immigration and election integrity agenda. Elon Musk even went so far as to suggest that anyone opposing the bill should be executed for treason, writing on X, "What is the penalty for traitors again?" Trump and his allies continue to push false claims that the 2020 election was stolen, spreading misinformation about voting machines, election processes, and alleged non-citizen voting. This legislation is based on lies about the 2020 election, and conspiracy theories about who's voting and how elections work, said Swearenbecker. Separately, Trump has signed an executive order requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote. The order also sets a national mail-in ballot deadline for Election Day, requires the Election Assistance Commission to rewrite voting machine certification standards, and threatens to withhold federal funds from states that fail to comply. It even mandates that state voter rolls be shared with federal agencies. Will Scharf, White House staff secretary, hailed it as the farthest-reaching executive action taken in U.S. history, but election law expert Rick Hasen called it a dangerous executive power grab that, if upheld in court, could shift control of elections away from states and into the hands of the presidency. Democratic officials from 19 states are suing to block the executive order, accusing the president of illegally trying to override state control of elections. In their lawsuit, they argue the order sows confusion and sets the stage for chaos in state election systems, handing voter data to federal agencies, including Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, which has been accused of launching bogus fraud investigations, could lead to mass purges of voter rolls based on false or flimsy accusations. So far, at least 19 states have proposed similar voter ID laws targeting non-citizen voters. In the lead-up to the 2024 election, thousands of people were flagged for removal from voter databases, often due to paperwork errors at local DMVs, not actual fraud. Civil rights groups call it a coordinated attempt to disenfranchise voters. Many eligible voters have been caught up in these purges, even receiving warnings they could face criminal charges if they try to vote. Susan Cork, executive director of the bipartisan State Democracy Defenders Action, says the SAVE Act is all about MAGA Republicans trying to choose their voters. Republican lawmakers are deliberately rigging the system to silence our voices and seize power, she said. Trump is laying the groundwork for mass voter disenfranchisement. The SAVE Act also increases legal risks for election workers, who may be deterred from registering voters if there's any uncertainty about a person's citizenship status, fearing criminal or civil penalties. While the bill says states must create a process for people without required documents, it's unclear how that would work or whether states are even prepared to implement such changes. Thanks for watching Fresh Talk News Channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more news and updates.